Hey there, E-mini Minders. This is Trader Tim from eminimind.com doing a Monday market analysis video for this week, September 9th, 2019. So let's dive right into the E-mini S&P. You can see on the daily chart here that we've not only broken the 60-18 but held above it. And last week I was talking about how that would be the significant point. Can we break above 2950 and hold it? Now we do have these two unfilled gaps, the fourth and then the third. And when I first saw this inverted hammer back on the 5th, I was a little bit concerned that if we broke below 6450, that there's a good chance that we could come down and fill one or both of these gaps. Having been now 3 days above the 61.8, that's a good sign for the bulls, especially today being able to make a new high above this tail. That's also a good sign, but it wouldn't surprise me. I'm still going to be watching this week very closely, 64.50. If we break that low, I'd watch for us to move down and maybe fill this gap and then get a bounce, or even come down and fill the gap here in the third and then bounce. I don't really have any 50s drawn to the long side. You could draw like so, and then use this swing low from the second up to highs. That kind of puts you at the 50% long, lining up with these prior swing highs. So that's really all I've got in terms of long 50%. If we just zoom out a little bit more to the weekly chart, you can see we're kind of in a upward channel really, and a move up to like 3150 would not be very surprising. I mean, 3030 would be a new high, and that's only 50 points away. Let's go to a couple trades from today. And today with the gap up, I started by drawing from highs down to lows, and it really didn't make a retracement until that full halfway back of the day. That was about 45 minutes in. But what we did get is a fill of Friday's gap. We traded at 80.75s. That was the close from yesterday. So gapping up, traded right down to that close. And I always look for a little bounce at that close, that gap fill. And that's exactly what we got today, a long from lows to this little swing high. Traded nicely through its 2-point target, and then a little bit further when we hit the halfway back short, the full halfway back for the day. I did take a little bit off there and then tighten my stop, and then was taken out as we sort of went into this sideways pattern. And the sideways pattern was very clear and noted by the opposing long. So the larger setup was the short. That was the halfway back from the high of the day to the low of the day. If I draw up the long setup, that put us, you can see how we're kind of pinballing back and forth between the 250s. And whenever I see that, I try and stay out of trades in between the 250s. Moving a little bit forward from there, it kind of stayed right around that 50% short. We did make this nice little double top here, and at the same time we hit the target of this long, and you can see that kind of very faintly dotted line. So drawing up the next retracement long, I simply waited for that to break. This held its 61.8 down here. So then we had another situation where we're kind of pinballing between the 250s. We formed this double top. Then we came down and broke the 61.8 here. I drew the full halfway back long, like so. And this break of the 61.8 coincided with sort of a stopping at the 50% long from lows to highs, as opposed to the second one in the uptrend. So it puts you in kind of a conundrum, because you got to wait for that 61.8 to break. But when it did, it really set up in a nice short. So that one was here at 83 1/4. just the second retracement in this series of shorts. So you had the large halfway back short, the first one here, and then the second one, which was essentially the trade or the setup at 83.25s, and that one really didn't have much resistance. It didn't have anything major in terms of pullbacks to kick you out. So it was just a matter I just trailed my stop above these swing highs, and then when we got going a little quicker, took a couple and trailed a few contracts a little bit tighter with my stop above each candle, and then got kicked out of those down here, and then kind of left that last bit to trail my stop above the swing highs here, and then even drawing the next 50% retracement like so, and trail my stop there. So that was a nice 10-pointer at more than 12 points. Really good trade there. And then even the long, I like looking for setups off of gap fills. That was a nice little setup as well. And the looking at today, it doesn't look like much, but it definitely felt better than the last couple of weeks. So I'm hoping this is a bit of a turning point, and as we move away from this 2940 area, this consolidation level, 2900, 2940, be watching for good opportunities, especially on the swing trading front, or adding to longer term positions if we do start making new highs. And you don't want to get caught sitting on the sidelines when the market's trading up at 3200, just because you were waiting. So there's a lot of swing trade, a lot of stocks that were trending that have sort of fallen apart. Watch for the really strong ones to return if the market does indeed make a new high. And if it doesn't, if we end up rolling over, this is the swing low that I'll be watching for us to break. If we break that swing low, then we should be able to come down and really sell off hard. But it's a little strange because there's definitely a lot of uncertainty in the market, especially with this Brexit stuff here. And yet the market is kind of shaking that off and moving higher. So it will be an interesting week, especially then next week we have the Fed meeting. But so far, it's looking better. This week is starting off on a pretty good note. So stay safe out there. If you want to follow along with my trades, you can visit eminimine.com/VIP, and on Tuesdays do a live trading room, and you have access to me to answer questions and things like that. And if you have questions as well right now, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll go ahead and answer those later today. So thanks a lot, and I hope everyone has a great week of trading.